So, welcome back. I'm Loy Gross. In this segment, we're going to talk about identifying barriers to your success at GCC. So, let's start with the fact that every student hits a roadblock. I mean, every student hits one somewhere. You're not alone. One of the things that always reminds me about this not being alone part is the number of resources and departments and people and programs that we have at GCC to help students who've hit roadblocks. GCC has a lot of people and a lot of resources that are dedicated to helping students overcome their barriers. And all of those resources, they would not exist if there were not a lot of students who need them. So know that we're here because you're not alone. There are many students in your position who find the college coursework difficult, and we can help you figure out what's going on and get back on your feet. A roadblock does not mean the end of the world. And just like GPS, Waze, Google Maps, you can always navigate around a blockage, right? We can figure out how to help you get around this particular hurdle. Your first step is knowing where you stand. You may think that you're not doing so well in the course, but at the end of the self assessment, you may find there are invisible or ignored barriers that are actually preventing you from being the successful student you want to be. Some of them have to do with GCC. Some of them have nothing to do with GCC. They're just factors in your life that may cause you to be not ready or not able to complete a class at this time. So we have to figure out what those roadblocks really are, which ones are permanent, which ones are temporary, develop a plan for overcoming those barriers and getting you back on your feet. So your GCC responsibilities that might be causing you some issue. Those are things like attending your class or finishing assignments or having class participation, whatever that may look like. In an online class, it might mean blocking out the amount of time in your schedule that you really need to complete that class. And it's might be more than you think. So, for example, our instructors recommend spending 2 hours on homework for every hour you spend in the class. A 3 credit class, therefore, is costing you about 9 hours a week at least in terms of homework and study time. Home life barriers. There are a lot of barriers in your home life that may be preventing you from being the best student that you can be, from having transportation, being able to get enough sleep, being able to schedule work alongside class commitments if you're still working. Maybe you're working online and it's taking longer than it used to, or you're volunteering at a church or a fire hall or a community organization. And that takes time and energy away from your schedule. And then there's family obligations, childcare, chores, you have drop offs. I mean, you can't just suddenly, those don't suddenly disappear because you're going to college. Many of our students who come to GCC, and this is really surprising, but many of them have never learned how they learn. Or maybe you've learned it on the fly. You went through kindergarten through 12th, and at some point you figured out that flashcards or having to explain it to somebody else is a way that works for you as a study tool. Or maybe taking notes or drawing diagrams doesn't work for you as a study tool. Or maybe you've just learned all along and never really thought much about it. But how do you learn? How's your time management? What kind of organization system works best for you as a student? There are a wide variety of learning types, and none of them are wrong. So, figuring out which one is right for you and being able to actively use that strategy is a key factor. Finally, there may be other barriers that you're facing. Financial strain can prevent you from attending college, and in lesser doses, it can make college harder even if you can attend. Can you afford your books and supplies, your gas, your changing food needs? That can all be very stressful, and stress prevents the brain from learning. Some learning disabilities prevent students from experiencing class in quite the same way as other students, and we try and do our best to accommodate, but sometimes that takes extra time. Students with visual disturbances may have to listen to audiobooks. Students with attention disorders, they may not be ready for a class that only meets once a week for 3 hour blocks. Mental health issues can be an ongoing battle in college. We have students who are depressed, who have other conditions that cause them to be inconsistent with how they approach the coursework. One week you're the star student, and the next week you just can't put it together. And finally, drug and alcohol use are very strong barriers to success. College is not contrary to popular demand, the place to party. College is the place to study. Get your work done, get your learning, get your understanding, get your grades, get your degree. So we have all of these factors inside and outside the college environment that can be major factors in your success. Our first activity that we're going to have is an assessment activity, and it's designed to help you really identify those barriers that are preventing you personally from succeeding. You're going to download the self-assessment form available under Blackboard, and you're going to go through the form and check off any boxes that are preventing you from being successful at GCC. You're going to put weights on those things. Which things are minor hurdles and which things are solid brick walls right in front of you that you're going to have to figure out how to deal with, which are temporary, which ones will only last a few months, and which ones are ongoing and that you're going to have to develop long-term strategies for. Be honest and add any additional factors that we may have forgotten. Take some time to go through that assessment and determine your starting square. And I'll see you in the next video.